Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you're all having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon or evening wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Today we are back giving our mini-series a go on the channel with how viable is Control in the historic meta, and we have Grixis. But before that I have a quick channel update for you just to let everyone know. This normally comes at the end of the video, but more people watch the beginning, so I thought throw this at the beginning so everyone can find out. I just want to let you guys know that I do upload a new video every day, so there's always a reason to stop by on the channel to check that out. On Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays we have standard and historic. We're just playing whatever list feels good, whatever we're in the mood to play. Some best of ones, some best of threes, and I'm always looking for suggestions for them, so throw them down in the comments down below. On Tuesdays and Thursdays we are continuing our mini series on the channel with how viable is Control, and we've done a few of them already and we'll be coming back and revising some more of them. So if you have suggestions for things we could have changed in the other lists, go to them videos and drop your comments down below. I read every comment, and it's really fun to read them as well, so we will be going back and revising them, so make sure to check them out. And then every single weekend we are drafting all weekend, so that'll be 2 or 3 draft videos over the weekend, just to keep you guys up to date. And I love drafting, it's one of my favorite things to do, so get excited for the weekends. And then throughout the week we're sort of just going to be streaming odd days, because I don't know what my work schedule's like. I don't know what exact days I will be streaming, but make sure to go over to Twitch, Radio Magic over there, and subscribe so you know the days that I'm going to be streaming, since you get a little notification for that. But if you're not interested in Twitch, then stay here on YouTube and subscribe to the channel to get all of the notifications for things that are coming up. But like I said, new video every day. So now we've got the channel update out of the way, onto the deck tech. For those of you who have already looked at the list right now and know exactly what it does and what the cards are trying to do, this is Grixis Control. So you can head down into the description below and you can find some timestamps down there which will bring you to the games. Don't worry, there's no spoilers, so you can go down there spoiler free and jump straight ahead. But some people might want to know exactly what the deck tech does, so I'm going to go over the cards one by one as quick as I can and sort of explain my rationale for them, and yeah, get on to that. I have to say as well, I thought Grixis would be one of the worst controlled lists, but I've actually found this a lot of fun to play, and it's been really interesting. It definitely has an edge over Azorius, I feel, which is currently probably the strongest in the series that we've tried. But on the 1-drop slot we have 2 fatal pushes. This was originally 4, but I found we don't have a lot of ways to trigger a Volt, and Grixis has so many different forms of removal that I feel fatal push just isn't as efficient without fetch lands. So we're only running 2 of these. We have 4 Four.Vs as well. This is a must. We don't really need to say much about this. One of the most efficient spells in the format at the moment, and by far the best turn 1 play you can make. Next we have 2 Erebos' Intervention. This is an interesting one since it scales with the game. It can gain more life as the game goes on, and it is like our Graveyard Hate at the same time, so it sort of spares some slots in the sideboard because we are not running Grafdigger's Cage for a change. So this is our Graveyard Hate, but also against aggro is quite good, and it can kill bigger creatures later on, but not the most efficient removal spell, but we have ways of discarding it later on if it becomes irrelevant. We're then running 2 Abrades. This is just simply 2 mana to deal 3 damage, or we can destroy an artifact, so relevant if we're against God-Pharaoh's Gifts or maybe other artifact based decks, since the colourless combo is a thing right now, and Abrade's going to stand out there. Bonecrusher Giant is an all-star. I love Bonecrusher Giant, it works so well. 2 mana Stomp or 3 mana 4/3 that when it becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, it deals 2 damage to them. This is so good. So you can turn 1 Four.Vs, turn 2 Stomp, turn 3 Bonecrusher Giant, and then go up the curve that way. It is essentially a 2 and a 3 drop together, so I love that about this spell. It's so efficient. In the Jeskai list we also ran Bonecrusher Giant, since I think they're a must if you're in red. We're also running 3 Champion of Wits. So Champion of Wits is going to draw us cards and then discard us cards, and then in the late game we're going to be able to eternalize it to be able to draw 4 cards and discard 2 cards. So Champion of Wits is really good. It's going to help discard them fatal pushes and Erebos' Interventions in control matchups when we don't need them, and draw us into relevant spells when we do need them. It sort of just really helps us fix our hand, while also finding our relevant spells and giving us something to do in the late game. It's really relevant to mention that with Champion of Wits we can also be ramped out as well, but we'll get onto that in a minute. This is the first ever list that I've played Soul Shatter in as well, and I have to say this card is outstanding. I didn't realise how powerful this card was. at instant speed, it just feels pushed. But the fact each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the highest converted mana cost among creatures and planeswalkers they control. The fact this hits planeswalkers is so relevant, and this always gets your opponent's best thing. Typically, there's obviously exclusions to that, but most of the time this is going to get your opponent's biggest threat. Yeah, this is really good. It hits on the auras list really well, which is something to mention. It hits on control at the same time, so it's sort of always going to be quite good. There's some matchups where this isn't so good, but a lot of the time we're going to want a Soul Shatter. We're then running free Extinction Event as our board wipe of choice. We could be running Languish instead of this, but we've gone with Extinction Event just because Exile is really valuable and it can dodge our Champion of Wits and Bone Crusher Giants and Gontis as well, so we can get around them. Could be running more Languishes maybe instead, but I've decided to put the 4th Extinction Event in the board, and we're going to stick with just Extinction Event as board wipes since we've gone down still a control angle, but we are running creatures in this list. We're then running 2 Gontis as a 4-mana pseudo removal spell with Death Touch, but it can also grab a card off our opponent's deck. So most decks in Historic are running some powerful individual spells that Gonti can really take advantage of. Gonti comes out in maybe like the colorless matchup where there's like when an opponent's deck is really synergistic, all their cards are pretty poor, but when you put them all together, they're really good. So we don't really want Gonti in them matchups, but a lot of matchups are going to have their own like Chandras, Planeswalkers, Thoughtseizes, removal spells. So Gonti typically going to be really good. And what Grixis list would be completed without Chandra, Torch of Defiance, a 4-mana bomb? This is probably my favorite planeswalker in all of Magic, maybe. She does everything you want her to do. She gives you card advantage, she ramps you, she is a removal spell, and she is a win condition. Yeah, I am to use this win condition on Arena, so haven't quite got there yet. But Chandra's really nice with Champion of Wits in the list, which is something really interesting to mention. When we go Champion turn 3 and then Chandra turn 4, Champion's going to die defending the Chandra. Chandra can then tick up and ramp us to our Champion of Wits Eternalize, which doesn't seem very powerful, but a turn 5 4/4 that draws 4 is pretty strong even in the Historic meta. So yeah, definitely something to watch out for, but it's super strong. We're also running a 1-of Ashiok Nightmare Muse. This is just to have some diversity at the top of our curve, and I didn't want to go up to 6 and 7 mana for the Nicol Bolas or the Liliana, so I decided to run an Ashiok instead. This could obviously be played around. If you wanted to run 6 mana Liliana or 7 mana Nicol Bolas, then you could go for that instead. We're also running 2 Dark Imitations. This was one of the last cards I added to the list, and it was released with Kaladesh Remastered. It's Grixis and 2 for sorcery. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, then discards a card. You return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, then draw a card. And then there's a bit of text on the end which isn't really relevant but does come up. Whenever you cast a Bolas planeswalker spell, exile this card and then it enters with an additional loyalty counter. So Dark Imitations is in the list basically against all non-token lists. It's pretty good against. When our opponent actually has things that we want to die, even if a lot of decks have single target creatures, which this works excellently against. But most lists, this isn't going to be the best removal spell, but the idea is you 4-for-1 your opponent in the fact you get rid of a threat, be it whatever it is. They have to discard a card. Hopefully that's going to be relevant. You then get something back and draw a card, which is so relevant. Going turn 4 Chandra into minus her to kill something, she dies, and then you just Dark Imitations to get her back, kill them, and draw another card is just outstanding. Not running too many because like it's not always going to be great, but good card advantage. And then we're topping off the curve with 3 Nicol Bolas Dragon Gods, because Grixis would not be Grixis if Nicol Bolas was not in the list. Nicol Bolas has the loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers, but we're typically using his above anyone else's. We can draw a card and make sure our opponent exiles a card from their hand or a permanent they control. We can destroy any creature or planeswalker, or we can win the game if our opponent doesn't have a legendary creature or planeswalker on the board. So we kind of need to play Nicol Bolas because we're playing Grixis. I feel like it's with the flavour of the deck. He is an excellent planeswalker as well. He's sort of the Azorius Teferi, is the way I sort of look at him. The 5-mana bomb planeswalker that will take over the game. Except from Nicol Bolas doesn't provide sort of mana advantage. He provides just even more card advantage than Teferi does. And then as part of our mana basis, we're not running that many utility lands. We're running 3 Shatterskull Smashings, 1 Temple of Malice, and 1 Temple of the Sea, and the rest of them are shocks and checks. which is we probably could run more Scrylands, because Grixis can really do with the card advantage sometimes and card selection, but we're only going to run 2. Moving on to the sideboard, we have 3 some more hand hating against control, and some of their matchups where they have a lot of non-creature spells. 3 negates as our counterspell of choice. We're typically a tap down control list, which is odd for control, but negates are still going to be good in some matchups. Gifted Aetherborns for some more death touch action when our opponent doesn't have evasive threats and we maybe need to gain some more life, so I'm thinking the mono red matchups this is coming in for. Essence Extraction almost exclusively for aggro lists and just some more interaction if we need it. 4th Extinction Event. 2 Fort Distortions. This is against control. Good luck Azorius beating a Fort Distortion, since this just makes you crumble. And then 2 Chandra's Awakened Inferno, and this is for Azorius and other control matchups as well. If they have an infinite number of counter spells, then good luck answering Chandra and Fort Distortion. So I'm just really gonna try and seal their matchups away, as if our main deck wasn't good enough as well against them. But yeah. And that is essentially the list. Like I said, Grixis was something I was a little bit worried about, since I'm normally safer in white than I am in black. But do you know what? Like, it's been really fun building it. It's been really fun playing it as well. Soul Shatter. Like I said, I've been so impressed with that with the card, and playing with Gonti as well is really fun. And Dark Imitations has been quite good as well. So let me know what you guys think, and yeah, let's see how we get on with the games. Okay, Grixis Control on the play in Historic best of 3, and yeah, we're probably going to mulligan this hand. We have 2 lands, but they're both red sources, no black. This hand looks a lot better. I'm going to keep this. Probably put one of these Bone Crusher Giants to the bottom. Pretty perfect mana, 2 removal spells, and something to curve out into. Bone Crusher Giant here gets to feel part 2 and 3 on the curve here. Probably just going to kill this straight away. So this is more of tap-down control, Grixis. Okay, so our opponent can block this. So probably just going to play Champion here. We kind of want Champion in our graveyard a little bit as well. Extinction Event is great. We'll discard. And this removal spell is not going to be too good against the Vanguard. So maybe against Auras here. But if our opponent decides to slap a load of Auras on the Vanguard, we have Extinction Event. So I think we'll take 3. So probably looking at Extinction Event even next turn. So we'll just play the Bone Crusher Giant. If not, we could always play Ashiok. We'll see. See what our opponent's trying to do though. Not too sure at the moment.
My oath remains unbroken.
Again, we'll take 3 since we have the Champion. So, could play Ashiok here, but I don't like the idea of Ashiok being countered, since it's all we've got going on at the moment. So we'll attack Champion, try and take this Gideon down maybe. Opponent's going to animate. Okay. So we get to mop up this now. If our opponent doesn't have a counter spell. Probably should have played around Sensor there. So opponent's got an active Planeswalker, but we could always play Ashiok and bounce it back. If we wanted to. Probably more likely we're just going to play it and start making creatures. Yeah, we'll take 2. Still not 100% what our opponent's doing, but we're going to play Ashiok and just start making creatures. And I kind of like our position, since Chandra can ramp us into a champion. And once we start eternalizing champions, we should be okay. Ooh, nice. So we don't lose Ashiok, but we got the Soul Shatter. So I like Chandra tick up into Soul Shatter. Since we can't really take out the Gideon from here. And then we'll just start making creatures. And then we're in a pretty good position now. Opponent's got the backup Gideon. Opponent's on Gideon Tribal. Nice, I like it. Let's tick up and just make some more blockers. Probably just gonna eternalize a Champion of Wits here. Is it worth eternalizing a champion? Probably. And we might discard this land as well. We'll see what we draw. Yeah, we're definitely discarding some lands there. Yeah, we'll just discard 2 lands. Play a tap land and pass turn. Since no point attacking.
You hold no power.
Opponent's gonna scoop it up there. Yeah, Grix is sort of taking over there. Chandra's plus ability allowed us to sort of swing that in roundabouts. So I don't really understand what our opponent's trying to do. They have Vanguards, which means we got to keep in like Erebos' Intervention, Soul Shatter, but Soul Shatter's pretty good anyway. Extinction Event might still be good. I mean, I don't really understand what our opponent's doing, but yeah, maybe we just want to bring in some counter spells over like the Abrades. I mean, cut the Fatal Pushes, and maybe we'll just bring in like that and go in a Chandra, since if they're in Azorius, they probably have counter magic after boarding. Run it like that. Okay, so game 2 against Azorius Legendaries, I guess, with Adonato's Vanguard. We're going to keep this. See what our opponent's got. We're just going to play Temple. Get the Scry out the way, and I like Portseas. So, opponent has the Adonato's Vanguard. Let's have a look what they've got. Rest in Peace. So it stops our Champion of Wits, but apart from that, not really that bothered. Probably just going to take the Gideon. Yeah, just play this tapped. So I really like our position from here. Yeah, Rest in Peace shuts down our Champion of Wits, but don't really think we're bothered by that. We have enough value. Probably just going to waste no time. Just do X equals 2. Gain 2 life. Kill this. Next turn we get to Gonti. And I like Gonti. Opponent's just going to scoop it up. Yeah, that's yeah, nail in the coffin there. Okay, Grixis Control on the play. And this hand looks okay. A lot of creature interaction, but our opponent's on Lurrus of the Dream Den. So they're going to be quite low to the ground. And if our opponent's on the Aura deck, then the Soul Shatter is going to be quite good. A ton of interaction. And also these are like creatures at the same time. So it looks like, yeah, confirmed. Probably going to Bone Crusher Giant this while we can, so they can't fizzle the Bone Crusher Giant. It does mean we don't get to curve into a Bone Crusher Giant, but if our opponent goes a creature here, we could always stomp it again. So Soul Shatter is probably going to be excellent in this matchup, since it gets around their 1/1 tokens that they can make. Core Spirit Dancer here, so this lines up pretty well. Just going to do that again. And land is okay. Probably just want to bottom it though. We have 4th land. We have no reason to keep lands at the moment. Our curve stops at 5. Just probably going to play like back-to-back Bone Crusher Giants, unless our opponent plays like a Shram or another Core Spirit Dancer. Just going to put Lurrus into the hand. I think that's a good sign. Probably going to play this out as well. So opponent must have like nothing happening. We just get to kill the Lurrus here. This feels really unfortunate. And then just play another one out. Bone Crusher Giant showing its strength here, being a removal spell and a creature. Opponent's just contemplating whether they'd like to block or not. Not going to block. Fair enough. Have a second Bone Crusher Giant. And these Soul Shatters are probably going to get us there. It doesn't really matter the level of protection our opponent has. Yeah, they can hold up protection for this, but it's not going to work out. Yeah, this is where Soul Shatter is so good as well, since it gets around these little tokens. And it has to be a creature or planeswalker, so even if they had a free CMC Aura, for example. Oh, we're going to sack that Curious Obsession. Yeah, oops indeed, opponent. So yeah, just going to Soul Shatter here. You shall sack your core Spirit Dancer, please. And if our opponent has any funny business here, we even have a Erebos' Intervention ready to go. So, Grixis Control sort of mopping up auras here. Very convincing game, but we had a very interactive hand, and it looks like our opponent had maybe double core Spirit Dancer, so maybe the hand wasn't that bad, but yeah, we're gonna do this for 2. Just sort of doesn't allow our opponent to get any sort of advantage on us. We don't want them to be able to trade there and gain free life back. Want them chump blocking, taking 4. I mean, we could have allowed the trade and played a second one, but I think we're fine. Our opponent's going to need something really special. So unfortunately, both of these are odd, but we are just going to swing in here. I guess our opponent can sacrifice to give Indestructible. I guess once they sacrifice, we can Soul Shatter. Let's go. Yeah, so we attack. They'll stop 3 damage, but they block, and then sack to give Indestructible. And we can Soul Shatter. I mean, they might let it go through. I'm so sorry, opponent. And then we have 3 Bone Crusher Giants. Yeah, that was disgusting. So against core Spirit Dancer, what do we want? Maybe just more hand hate. I guess we want to hit their creatures though. Death Touchers, maybe. What do we not want? That's probably a better way to do it. I guess we don't want Gonti in this matchup. I guess like Ashiok might be too slow. They'll have protection as well. I still like Dark Imitations. Maybe we want the Death Touchers. And I think we want the Extinction Event as well. Maybe just run it like that. Okay, Grixis Control on the play, and we don't know what we're against. Our opponent doesn't have a companion. This hand is very dependent on our opponent being a creature matchup. But if they are a creature matchup, this looks very good. 2 lands though. Might mulligan, got no sort of card draw. Yeah, this hand looks much better. Probably just going to put the Ashiok on the bottom. Bit of interaction, Chandra, everything you want. By far one of my favourite planeswalkers. She is card advantage, ramp, removal, and a win condition, all on a single card.
So if our opponent has nothing here, we will just stomp their face, I think. Could be against Esper. Ooh, counters. Excited to play this matchup. Fortunately, we're going to get on board first. Hopefully we draw a red source next turn so we can play Chandra. So our opponent's creatures might get too big for us. All night. So we can do -2, -2. Making it a 2-1. So if our opponent wants to trade here, we can eat their creature. If they decide to take it, probably playing out another Bone Crusher Giant. And do the same stunt again next turn. But yeah, struggling to hit land drops here. Or Windy Constrictor. No! This is gonna be insane. So now we have to 2-for-1 ourselves to get past this Winding Constrictor. We did draw land. But we maybe just kill this Luminarch Aspirant. So we could lay... I give -3, -3 to the Winding Constrictor. Be a 1-2. So maybe we just shock this in. And attack. Because I think I'd rather kill the... Equally, we could just play Chandra and kill the Aspirant. Which I actually don't mind as well. Yeah, I think I might do that actually.
I know.
Stop these counters going on, and if opponent wants to attack in here, I might trade Chandra for Winding Constrictor. Okay, so opponent might attack in here. Yeah. So we can have a double chump block, but I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to trade here and be happy with that. Since Winding Constrictor is pretty strong. And this has protection from multicolored though. Okay. Unfortunately, yeah, not hitting land drops. Going to be quite bad. But we'll have a look at what our opponent's got. Another Winding Constrictor, Stone Coil Serpent. I think we have to take the Winding Constrictor. Don't really want our opponent getting more counters than they need. Maybe the Lieutenant was the correct pick. Oh, okay, so we need to have full control. And kill this ASAP. So we'll take the hit from the Knight of Autumn, but we will trade with the Lieutenant. We could have waited till next turn, till we could Erebos' Intervention, but I don't really want to take more damage than necessary. Not looking good though. So we can Erebos' Intervention for 4, but it's not really enough. And we could just play Bolas and trade it for the Knight of Autumn. If we play Bolas and tick up, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the counter from here is 11, so we can't do that. And we can't Erebos' Intervention. We could play Bolas, kill this, and then it will die and we'll go down to 9 and they play Lieutenant. Or we'll go down to 8 actually, and then we could Erebos' Intervention and hope to draw something. I guess our hope here is to draw something. We're definitely better. We've got to be better at top decking than our opponent is.
Your existence is pointless.
And we have a lot of good draws at the moment. Oh, okay, so... Yeah, so we take some damage here.
I have other schemes to attend to.
So opponent gets to create a big boy from that. So we can do Erebos' Intervention for 5. So I wonder if they put this on the Stonecoil Serpent. Because if we kill the Stonecoil Serpent after the Bastion's Lieutenant enters, then they get an extra counter. They get an extra 2/2. Yeah. I think we can just kill the Knight. Because they probably go for the Knight here. So Extinction Event would be really good. Okay, no, opponent's going for that. So what's this? Even, odd, even, even. So I think it makes sense to kill the odd creature and hope for a Extinction Event at this point. We do lose a little bit of value because our opponent gets a 2/2 here. So this kills the Lieutenant and we take 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we get one more draw. And it saves us the fact this is instant speed. I guess still lethal. Exactly because of the counter, yeah, sure. Okay, so yeah, got a little bit overrun there. Definitely need to bring in some bits. I'm thinking Death Touch is going to be really good against our opponent since none of their stuff had Trample. Extinction Event's going to be really good. What do we not want? Probably the Abrades aren't going to be that great in this matchup. Gonti's still going to be really good. And most of our removal is going to be quite good. I think Fatal Push. Maybe Erebos' Intervention is like the worst card we have. Unless our opponent has Adonta's Vanguard, but we still have answers to that anyway. So probably just run it like that. Okay, on the play against +1/+1 counters. And this hand has lands and spells, but no sort of card advantage or anything. I think we're going to keep it since we have some interaction and a Death Toucher to hold their creatures at bay. Gonna have to take some damage in these first turns. Oh, opponent has a pretty nice hand. Double Winding Constrictor. I don't know what we sort of take here, because opponent goes turn 1 Pelt Collector into Winding Constrictor, but I think we have to take the Luminarch Aspirant. This hand is going to be hard to beat without an Extinction Event. Especially with the Nissa. Oh, what do you know? Extinction Event. So hopefully our opponent's going to overextend into the board. Opponent's missing land drops as well, though. Opponent kept one land, which is risky, but they had like I said, they had an excellent hand. So gonna have to hold back now and try and get some extra value. Gonna hold this Shatter Skull. So let's see what our opponent does here. Opponent is going to hold back. So we can Shatter Skull for free. I guess we're more aiming at odd now. Naming odd of Extinction Event and taking out these two. And it misses our Gifted Aetherborn. So maybe we're just killing the Conclave Mentor. And we could always do this for 4 next turn, killing like Winding Constrictor. So we'll have a look where our opponent's going to target with the counter on that. Do we kill it now? I think we do. I think we kill it before our opponent gets a chance to put counters anywhere. The alternative is to wait, kill the Conclave Mentor. If they put it on there, hopefully they do. I think just take 3. This is difficult. Because this is 7 power now. I think just take 3. So we could Shatter Skull for 4, but again, not really that much. Or we could Extinction Event on Odd, wiping away these 2, but our opponent's still left with their value creatures. I guess if we draw land next turn, and our opponent can't put a counter, then Shatter Skull smashing is pretty good. It feels weird this, but as long as our opponent can't put a counter on and we draw land, then we can mop these 2 up. Let's see, because our opponent's looking at a Nissa next turn. Oh, unfortunately it's a tap land. To be fair, if we draw... We're going to put it on the bottom. If we draw another land and we do this for 6, then it... If you do X for 6 or more, it deals twice X damage divided as you choose among them. I guess it won't matter too much. Let's play a Bone Crusher Giant out. Got some blockers. And yeah, just going to ship the turn back as well. So maybe it's better for the Extinction Event to go wiping out their actual cards that enable. Because Anissa here is going to be quite strong. Our opponent needs a green source. That is not a green source. Wow, Extinction Event on even here looks fantastic. I think we shall go for that as well. Since Shatter Skull with smashing can take out the Nissa. Opponent might see this coming. Yeah, I think if our opponent decides to play a Nissa next turn, then we want the champion down so we can block and then Eternalize. Or we could just take Nissa now. I guess we can't, we'd need the land as well. We'll discard these 2. So suddenly I've gone from hating our position to not minding it. I guess our opponent gets to kill the scavenging, or the champion. The champion goes to the graveyard, but I guess we can just Chandra here. Yeah, opponent's going to scoop it up. Pathway's pretty good lands at getting to decide which colour you want, but not good if you want multiple of the colour. So we saw a bit more from our opponent there. I don't know if it changes our game plan very much. Our opponent's going really big. They do have Nissas. But I think this is okay. Fatal Push is going to be an unconditional removal spell a lot of the time against their creatures. Soul Shatter is going to be good. Bone Crusher Giant's good if we can catch them early. Erebos' Intervention, probably our worst one. And this can hit Stonecoil Serpent. And it hits Winding Constrictor without a counter on it. And this is 4 mana. Maybe we swap one like that instead. I think we like the rest of it because sacrificing is pretty good still. Okay, opponent gets to go first against our Grixis Control list. And this hand looks a bit dodgy. All of our lands enter tapped and we have no early interaction. So we're going to mulligan this. Probably going to keep this hand. Maybe put the Shatter Skull on the bottom since we don't have the mana to cast it for a high amount at the moment. Hopefully Gonti's going to deter our opponent from attacking. Champion will draw us into something, and the turn 1 Four.Vs hopefully gets like a Winding Constrictor or something. So Pelt Collector, Knight, probably take the Lieutenant. I guess our opponent, if we take Knight, our opponent's off of Pelt Collectors for longer. But Lieutenant's more advantage. I guess we'll take Knight towards him. I think we can survive the late game. If our opponent draws a creature earlier, then it punishes us a little bit. So probably going to anticipate that our opponent has a creature here. Yeah, they top decked another Knight. So just going to kill one of these in response, I think, and mitigate the damage. So they probably put the counters on it. Just going to definitely trade off here. I think we can survive the late game. Yeah, we'll trade. And then Gonti will be able to trade with whatever our opponent plays. This will have trample eventually. And it looks like our opponent's missing on land drops. But never mind, we're just going to play this Gonti out. Have a look, see if we get any goodies. Oh, and Anissa is definitely a goodie. We don't get the static ability very much, but reanimating lands is going to be quite strong. I would have really liked like a Knight of Autumn. I guess any of our opponent's creatures are pretty good. I think we're going to block here as well. Protection from multicolor or something that can have trample. So the protection. I guess the Pelt Collector can get bigger, can't it? So gonna shock here. Gonna start reanimating our lands. So we will just trade this off. We're going to lose out on lands, but I think it's worth it to convert our lands into 3/3 creatures. Since we just need to stay alive. Again, opponent only has one green source available. Probably, do we tick up and make mana? Tick up. Probably just kill the Scavenging Ooze. Since it can trade anyway, but Scavenging Ooze can get even bigger. And we could lose Chandra here. Or we could trade with this. I think taking the Lieutenant is better. We lose Chandra, but we're left with a Nissa and Champion of Wits. Ooh. Opponent could kill Nissa here instead if they wanted to. They're going to elect to do that.
I cannot protect you anymore.
So let's have a look what's on the top. Just a land. So Four.Vs is really good with champions because we can just discard them now. Do we prioritize killing the aspirant now? Maybe. Just discard Nicol Bolas. I don't know. Yeah, I think we do. I guess this is going to be a 5/5 either way. Chandra's going to take 1 damage. Thinking actually maybe it was correct. We have to tap our land. Maybe it was correct to keep the Nicol Bolas instead. Trade here for the Stonecoil Serpent. I'm just going to put a counter on. We'll trade both of our creatures and Chandra will go to 1. But we get to kill the Aspirant, so they don't actually get to kill Chandra here. And if we top deck a land, then we can reanimate the Champion of Wits. If we don't top deck a land, then we get to just play Bone Crusher Giant. So land it is. So I think we're gonna reanimate Champion.
You're going down.
And now we're in a pretty good position. Since we draw 4, discard 2, and yeah, they're pretty 2 good ones to discard. Yeah, and I like our position here with a Shatter Skull and an Extinction Event. Feels like it's going to be difficult for our opponent to gain control of this match now. Chandra's going to provide some pretty good card advantage. Yeah, it's going to be good, but like not quite good enough. So we're not going to shock ourselves anymore, but we'll exile the top card. Have a look at what we get.
Today's my lucky day.
Do we want to cast this? We can cast this for free. Let's just kill the Pelt Collector. And then just pass the turn. Leave Champion back. No reason to let the Conclave kill the Chandra. Since we just killed it for free, basically. It's not gonna take many turns, yeah. Opponent's got the enablers, but none of the advantage. So Nicol Bolas, I like Nicol Bolas into Bone Crusher Giant. And they should be able to take over from here. Dark Imitations is a good draw as well. So opponent only has 4 lands, so do you exile a creature, do you exile a land at this point? Not an easy choice, I don't think. And I don't think we're going to attack. I think we're just going to sit back and protect our planeswalkers. And Dark Imitations with Soul Shatter is going to mop up our opponent's board. We also can down tick Chandra and Nicol Bolas now. It's just a matter of closing the game. Opponent's going to scoop it up early, I think. Fair enough. Okay, Grixis Control on the play against Yorion Sky Nomad. I think with a turn 1 Thoughtseize, this is a keepable hand. Again, taking that 4 damage turn 1. Pretty deadly. Okay, so it looks like Doom Foretold for our opponent. Just going to take this Thoughtseize, I think, and be done with it. If our opponent had 1 cast out, we could consider taking the cast out instead, but I'd rather our opponent not to look at our hand. Black Source, Black Source. I guess we need another Black Source, but we'll draw one with Champion, I guess. Our opponent's got some dodgy mana. The Shatter Skulls are essentially bolt lands in this matchup, not going to be too good. I think I like just discarding the Shatter Skulls. I guess the Abrade could be. Yeah, maybe the Abrade's better to discard for one of them. And we get to go turn 4 Chandra into turn 5 Nicol Bolas if we top deck a red source. Ooh, nice. A reason to keep the Abrade. So definitely should have probably shocked that in. Yeah, that was a mistake. Since we could have killed this and then set up for next turn. I'm just gonna look at our hand, have a look at what we've got opponent. So a relatively powerful hand. I wonder what you take here, because Dark Imitations is quite a lot of value next turn. And if you make us discard a planeswalker, we can get it back with the Dark Imitations. I think you have to take it here. And we should have bolted last turn, but what can you do? Opponent doesn't take it. I guess they take our land, hoping that we don't top deck land, but we did top deck land. Unlikely that opponent has a Four.Vs. I guess we just make our opponent kill the Chandra. And we get it back.
You wanna go, tough guy?
Opponent's probably just looking for lands here. Unfortunately, we do lose our champion. Opponent gets to, yeah, Oath, but we get to Dark Imitations it back.
Guess you don't need me anymore.
We're probably just going to Nicol Bolas first. Start ticking up. We don't get the little synergy with Dark Imitations, but don't think we need it at this point. Nicol Bolas ticking up should be enough. Normally, like, 2 or 3 tick-ups with Bolas is enough to lock it away. Opponent's probably going to, like, cast out the Bolas here, but we get to probably get rid of one of their last cards. And get back our Chandra.
I will return one day.
We don't have a way to answer cast out as well. Oh, that's nice. That was pretty good. Yeah, take that Doom Foretold. Opponent's left with nothing now. And we're gonna have an active Chandra. Oh, nice. Opponent drew pretty well there. Didn't find a land. See if we top deck something we can actually play. Oh, oh yes. I think we're just gonna play it out. The opponent they have Wrath. Yeah, okay. I thought they had Shatter this guy for some reason. So our opponent gets to game 4 here. So our opponent's definitely not out of it. We needed a few more tick-ups for Nicol Bolas, really. They've had some pretty good answers to what we've got going on. So just going to sacrifice Bone Crusher Giant here. Hindsight's 2020, should have sacked the Chandra. So we've got nothing else to do this turn, so we'll shock our opponent first. Just pass the turn. Opponent's probably going to sack the Treacherous Blessing. Yeah, so we have to give up Chandra here, unfortunately. We have a backup one, though. Four.Vs is pretty good. Let's have a look at what our opponent's got going on. Oh, ECD or Treacherous Blessing. So our opponent's going to sack the Doom Foretold here. I think we take the ECD. I'd like another turn of my Chandra, please. If our opponent takes Chandra here, I don't know how we need to draw something pretty well. That's really tough. I don't know if it's correct. Opponent gets to take the Chandra here. Maybe we can try and like clock our opponent. You get a 4/4 here, so not nothing. Doesn't hit enchantments. So we probably need to draw something now. Yep. If we had something relevant, we would have played it. Oh, Yorion here. Gonna get to draw 3 more. Yeah, I feel like it was the Treacherous Blessing was correct. Our opponent's going to be very low on life, though. I guess if our opponent decides to... Yeah, we're just going to discard 2, essentially. Mill 2 off the top of our deck. I guess we can decline. Yeah, we'll decline. I don't see any reason to do it. I guess for Dark Imitations, but we already have one in the graveyard. But if our opponent has a board wipe here, then we get back the champion. Otherwise, they need like multiple removal spells. I guess this gains them a bit of life. Still not enough to survive the 4/4 attack. They have the Skyclave. Oh, opponent's hanging in. What have they got? I guess they really just didn't want to kill this Champion of Wits, which means they're going to take damage here. Yeah, opponent, you should have killed it last turn if that was the case. Scryland coming in clutch. Yeah, another champion. If our opponent's not going to kill them, then we'll keep them, since they're very low on life. Opponent gets to draw a load more cards. If they can't answer the Treacherous Blessing, then it should kill them eventually. This Treacherous Blessing, though, if we'd have just taken this, it was definitely right, wasn't it, to take the Treacherous Blessing. But these champions are going to have to die at some time. Our opponent probably could have killed us with the Oath of Kai's by now. We're only on 7 life. Opponent's going to try and kill us in 2 swings, I reckon. And it might work out. I'll play another Yorion. I guess that's just lethal there. Opponent blinks Oath and kills us. So yeah, taking Treacherous Blessing was probably correct there and just giving up the Chandra. I was not ready to say goodbye to it. So what do we want here? Probably want negates, fort distortions. Probably don't want extinction events. Braids don't strike me as that good. Erebos' Intervention, Fatal Push can go. I guess we can bring in the Duresses and bring in a Chandra and run it like that. Okay, on the play against Yorion Sky Normad, and this hand looks really good. Double hand hate. Hopefully we can keep our opponent from hand hating our fort distortion. Soul Shatter not his best in this matchup, but what are you gonna do? Opponent's mulligan once. Probably he's gonna duress. So opponent's really got nothing going on. Probably he's gonna wait a turn. I don't know if there's a reason to... I think there's a reason to keep waiting. We'll do it next turn. Interesting as to when we pull the trigger to this. We can't stop a Four.Vs either way. I guess this is when we pull the trigger to it. Do we Gonti? If we Gonti, our opponent can Skyclave the Gonti away, but do we even care about that? I guess we don't. I'd rather just Gonti, I think. Oh, Demonic Pack. We can't really get rid of Demonic Pack once it enters for us. So probably not taking it. We can't play lands off of Gonti. I believe we can't play lands. Yeah, and cast that card. Probably don't want Treacherous Blessing as well, so just Emery's cool. So not the best Gonti ever, but still, this could win the game for us. Oh, opponent has the Demonic Pack. So let's just look at our opponent's hand. Probably just taking ECD here. Or we take Yorion. Opponent's going to get to draw a load of cards. I guess we... This is only opponent. Let's take Yorion. I'm not sure what we take there. And we get to hold up Soul Shatter. This feels like it's going to be tough. Opponent can ECD the Gonti if they want to. Agonizing Remorse. So probably takes his Fort Distortion, I'd imagine. We have creature removal for days. Unfortunately, we really wanted that to be an untapped land. I like another Gonti. So maybe our opponent can't answer the pact. I assume they're going for a Doom Foretold. Got to discard 2. Fortunately, I know the exact 2 I'll be discarding. Yep. Probably opponent's gonna have to discard. They'll just discard the Fatal Push though. But this is gonna cost 2 more next turn. So I guess we just do it anyway. So deal 4, game 4. And our opponent needs to find an answer to this Demonic Pact this turn. I assume they can find an answer to it. They must have a Doom Foretold by now. They could even cast out. Oh no, it's an opponent. All of these are opponent controls. Poor opponent couldn't find the answer to the Demonic Pact. Interesting. Managed to bring it home there. Yeah, I don't think we have much more for this matchup. This just seems like this is how this is going to run. Soul Shatter I don't really like in this matchup, but I think I prefer it above what else our opponent's got going on. I guess we could bring in Erebos's Intervention since it sort of hates on the ECD end half. Maybe. No, we'll just run like this and see how it gets on. Okay, game 3 against Yorion Sky Nomad, and this is definitely a mulligan. Gonna keep this, no blue mana though. Probably just put the Duress on the bottom. Hand hate is only so good. Probably take Demonic Pack. Found some blue mana though. Yeah, I like Four.Vs to take this Yorion away. Gives us something to do next turn. Guess we can take one of the Orions away. Then we can have a Chandra or Gonti next turn. Think I prefer Gonti. get to look at more cards. Essentially, I could draw 4. Oh, interesting. Yorion's actually really interesting with Gonti. It'll give us an extra trigger. Or cast out. I think we're going to play it weird and take the Yorion here. I guess no such thing now. So probably just play Chandra out. We could Duress and hold up Negate. And then if we draw lands next turn. But then if our opponent only has Yorion, if they have nothing of value as the next card, then it doesn't really work out for us.
It's my turn. Oh, this
The land.
is gonna hurt.
So if we can phase like an ECD this turn, then we're in a good position. Nope, opponent has the ECD. Just need to phase it for 1 turn. So, probably. Do we kill the Skyclave? Probably. Probably Duress here as well. Knowing my luck, our opponent will have something relevant. No, opponent doesn't. So, funny to know that if we had just Duress last turn, it's really difficult to tell. Opponent's going to Yorion just to blink the Elspeth Conquers Death, and I guess block our 4/4. I think we're just going to Yorion to block. Not blink it, obviously. Eventually, our opponent's going to be able to get back the Skyclave to exile our 4/4. Opponent has the double Yorion. Feels real bad. Opponent's had some pretty good draws. We need to have some good draws as well. An answer to this, Yorion, would be really nice. Opponent didn't attack though, I guess scared of their own life total. We'll play Chandra tick up.
You and I are gonna take him out.
Obviously can't cast this, so we'll just ping our opponent. So they can't kill Chandra with this attack. They can knock her to 1. And presumably they don't have an answer to her as they would be. Wouldn't be attacking her. So I think we make our opponent answer 2 planeswalkers here.
You're going down.
Try and put our opponent on the back foot. And if they can answer 1 planeswalker, then we have the negate for the second answer. They probably get back the... I thought they were getting back the Skyclave. Not much we could have done about that since our opponent had multiple in the graveyard anyway. But we get to like draw cards here. See what we draw. Another Nicol Bolas is quite good.
My schemes are never ending.
This'll be
I think I like Nicol Bolas, just tick down. So we had some pretty good draws as well, so feels a bit more balanced, and we got the negate.
Suffer for your cause.
Give our opponent the madness. And I think we're going to counter this since this is pretty good card advantage for them. And we have lethal on board anyway. Yeah. We attack for 4 and then ping with a Chandra. So yeah, taking down Yorion, Doom Foretold. Okay, so this hand is okay against a creature matchup, but not so good against control. But I think we're going to keep this. Lands and spells, we'll see. Opponent's mulliganed as well. They have turn 1 Fable Passage. Let's go. They're going to show us our colour right out the back. Ooh. Wonder what our opponent's on. Esper Doom Foretold, maybe? So we can Shatter Skull smashing that next turn if we wanted to, but probably he's going to Champion of Wits. Maya Triton as well. What is our opponent up to? Like reanimation? Really not sure what our opponent's doing. It's got to be reanimation with the Stitches supplier. I wonder what they're trying to get back. I don't think we frighten the way just yet. So we could kill the Maya Triton and the Brain Maggot. Yeah, I don't think I mind that. So we'll have to kill this Stitches supply eventually, but we won't kill it just yet. Maybe one against like God-Pharaoh's Gift. We've seen 2 creatures from our opponent so far. 3 creatures. Wow, that's good. I wonder... kind of have to trade off, don't we? Braid, if we're against God-Pharaoh's Gift, might be quite good, but we have quite a bit of removal as it is. So Extinction Event can stop our opponent from milling 6 more, since I assume that's what they want to do. But at the same time, we lose our Champion of Wits. Maybe that's just okay. And we'll just draw something else. We have the Bone Crusher Giant that we can use next turn, and hopefully we're just going to draw something, I guess. I'm just going to do this now since our opponent's missing land drops, put him under a little bit of pressure. Opponent has milled quite a lot of lands. So we would be championing this turn. Championing? It's a weird word to say. Yeah, opponent's really having mana problems. Nicol Bolas is good though. Opponent's we're gonna eat their hands slowly now.
Nicol Bolas will be your end.
Hopefully they exile it. Refurbish, so it's God-Pharaoh's Gift. Maybe they shouldn't have showed us that. So we have an Abrade. Opponent's gonna fight the good fight. Erebos' intervention is also quite good, since in response to the God-Pharaoh's Gift trigger, we can Erebos' intervention them. So our opponent's going to be getting back loads of creatures, so this Fort Distortion is not going to be that great. I can imagine Duress is going to be quite good. Fatal Push I don't think is going to be amazing. Soul Shatter can't be too great, since all of our creatures all of our opponent's creatures are tokens. Maybe Gifted Aetherborn's okay. Maybe it's just Extinction Event as like an additional board wipe. Bring in another piece of Hand Hate. I think we might actually want the other Hand Hates. And I think Ashiok might be okay at bouncing the God-Pharaoh's Gift back to the hand. Okay, our opponent's going first in game 2, and this hand looks really fun, but I don't think we're going to keep this with quadruple Fortsies. This hand doesn't look any more impressive. I'm going to mulligan again. This hand looks okay. So we don't need negate and a braid in the same hand. So I think we're going to bottom negate. Probably bottom the Chandra. Not the best hand ever. But I'm thinking Extinction Event can like mop up these Stitcher suppliers. So there's Gate to the Afterlife. So we can only assume that our opponent's on God-Pharaoh's Gift. Especially now we've seen this. Since we saw the Refurbish last turn. So Gate to the Afterlife and land. Just going to take that Gate to the Afterlife. Put our opponent off it for as long as possible. And we have an answer to it. Erebos's intervention is nice. It's going to allow us to slow our opponent down. And Gate to the Afterlife wants to have 6 creatures in your graveyard. So we could exile this in response. Could exile both of them. I think we might do so actually. So how many cards? I have 4 cards. I guess there's no reason not to exile them all. Since it's not really doing anything. I don't know if having lands in their graveyard benefits them, but I don't really want to find out. This destroy just creatures. Maya Triton. So just 2 lands for our opponent. Just gonna take this Noxious Gearhulk away since don't really want to deal with it. It's not going to really come in better use, the Four.Vs. Opponent could use the Phyrexian Tower to sack the Stitcher Supplier to play the Gearhulk. But at this rate, we're just going to die to these two. If we ever draw a land, then we're okay. I think we're going to just do this now. Our opponent might sacrifice the Stitcher Supplier in response. If they do, we get to mop up their whole board. Interesting. I think our opponents sacked the wrong creature there. Unless their plan was to get it back with a Deem's Awakening, but surely it was better to do it the other way anyway. But yeah, we're okay now, I think. Ashiok's going to take over from here. Ashiok does what Ashiok does best. Takes over the game. Don't know why my opponent's floating mana there. This is a sorcery. Yeah, I think our opponent was meant to sacrifice the Stitcher's Supplier. Oh, champion, nice. They might have wanted to keep this Phyrexian Tower up in case we had another exile spell. So, do we Extinction Event here? Probably. Since our opponent didn't leave up the Phyrexian Tower. And we can ultimate Ashiok next turn, which we might do, depending on what we get. We got a load of cards. I guess we got the champion that we could cast. Opponent's got to get some good draws here. Another champion, nice. Opponent left up the Phyrexian Tower this time, tap manually. tough choices of what to discard. Discarded the God-Pharaoh's gift. So opponent has 4 cards in graveyard. So is there anything we want Vashyok? Probably not. Since if we cast the champion, if it goes to the graveyard, our opponent will get it again. So probably just gonna, I guess we'll attack first. Opponent will get to Eternalize Champion of Wits. Let's Gonti and see what we hit. Guess this is an answer to God-Pharaoh's gift. Gate to the Afterlife does nothing for us. I guess we have to put this in our opponent's graveyard at some point. So they're going to get to Eternalize it. Just going to hope to get a God-Pharaoh's gift here, I guess. Opponent's going to scoop it up. I really didn't think they had to there. They could have chump blocked and then Eternalized next turn, and they might have been in a really good position from there. But I guess if they want to concede, they can. Okay, we get to go first with Grixis Control, and yeah, this hand looks okay. We need to draw a land or 2, but we get to go 1 drop, 2 drop, and then 3 drop. Or if we draw blue mana, we get to go champion. It's just sort of conditional on us drawing some lands here. Ooh, okay, so like mono red from our opponent. Probably take the Bone Mat Carrier. I guess we can kill this next turn. Just take a Bone Crusher Giant. So I feel like we have an okay matchup against mono red. We have quite a few sideboard options. Some passive life gain. We just really need to hit lands here. Just gonna shock this now. No reason to wait. So opponent's on like Rakdos. I love this swamp. So not drawing lands. Probably gonna spell Doom. Both our opponent's lands are really nice. Okay, so land isn't the end of the world. So opponent's holding up the Bone Crusher Giant here, I think. They'll get to put -1/-1 counters on this if they want, but at least it's not coming at our face. Okay, now our opponent just gets to kill it flat out. Interesting interaction. If our opponent decides to Bone Crusher Giant the Champion of Wits with the trigger on the stack, we will draw 0 and discard 2 since it will become 0 power. I think we're just going to pass the turn. If we drew blue mana, we might champion, but unlikely. We're just going to look at Fatal Pushing here. We'll hold the Erebos' intervention for as late as possible since it gains us the most life. It can also answer a Chandra, a Hazoret, sorry. Since I don't know what variant our opponent's on, they decided not to Bone Crusher Giant. But from their perspective, it looks like we're on a similar list, I guess. So just going to push here. Also, Erebos' intervention might not kill the Soulscar Mage. Okay, so just going to pass the turn and Soul Shatter. So we haven't drawn a lot of lands and we're struggling a little bit. But on the upside, our opponent's not putting us under much pressure. This is only going to buy us 1 turn since our opponent can get it back. So maybe we just take the free. I think we actually just take the free. Oh, nice. So really glad we just took the free
I
now.
knew you needed my help.
Get to kill the Chandra for free since they wanted to ramp. Land is pretty good. Probably just going to Erebos' intervention for free here. Killing the Bone Crusher Giant. And then next turn we can Extinction Event. We could just sacrifice a Chandra, but no, we'll Erebos' intervention. Gain a little bit of life back. This works out really well with the Extinction Event. So we just get to completely mop up the board here. We take 2 off the Bone Crusher Giant. Gain some back. Take 5, so we're sort of on the verge of stabilizing. Since our opponent has no recursive threats left. But we need to draw something relevant. Or opponent's gonna kill us pretty quickly. We're dead to a haste threat. I think we're gonna start with Chandra.
You wanna go, tough guy?
We're dead to probably most of what our opponent has. Went from being very happy to very sad. Okay, so opponent top deck 1 land, sort of exactly what we need.
Yup.
Okay, so let's just draw some cards. Gotta find something good. Discard, I guess. So, looking unlikely since pretty much everything, yeah, including a land, kills us. So, yeah. Fortunately, like I said, we do have quite a bit in the sideboard, I think, that's going to tackle this matchup quite well. Our opponent probably has a good understanding of what we're on as well. So I want our Gifted Aetherborns, Essence Extractions. I'm taking it we want Extinction Event as well, since our opponent had quite a few recursive threats. Probably don't want Ashiok or Dark Imitations. Gonti might be okay. Probably don't want Four.Vs as much. We have ways to answer everything else. We just want all of our early interaction, but not as much Four.Vs since they cost us life. But yeah, this looks okay. We're bringing in more removal, more death touch, and just some more life gain. Okay, so on the play against Rakdos Control, and this hand looks like a mulligan, 2 bolt lands. This hand looks a lot better. Gonna keep, and interesting what we put at the bottom. Probably the Chandra, since I think we're gonna prefer Extinction Event. Land is fine. And I think we want the 2-for-1 value of the Bone Crusher Giant. Since we're just going to stomp this turn, I think. We could Fatal Push it, but we are going to opt to stomp. Soulscar Mage is much harder to stomp, I think. So might just Fatal Push that. I don't really want to shock 2-player Bone Crusher Giant that can't even eat that, has to trade with it. Our opponent can just reanimate it. Or what does our opponent take? The Extinction Event here. Extinction Event it is. Okay, so we found another Chandra. Gonna take this. Our opponent can stop getting it back now, but we would rather have the Bone Crusher Giant. Or opponent's going for the Four.Vs again. So just gonna pass the turn here. If our opponent has a better play than abrading the Scrap Heap Scrounger, then we shall Soul Shatter. But it's probably going to be just correct to save 3 damage here. So yeah, we'll block. I assume our opponent has like a burn spell to finish off the Bone Crusher Giant as well. So almost a 2-for-1. Unfortunately, we had to take a mulligan, which is why we're in this sort of a little bit worse position. Another removal spell is pretty good. Oh, really good with that. Opponent feels bad that they played that out before their Bone Crusher Giant. Unfortunately, we're in a position now where our opponent has some pretty good recursive threats. We need to find an extinction event, some sort of answer. That's pretty good. Probably just do it now, since it's going to be a while before we can get to doing it on the Scrap Heap Scrounger as well. And we need to find an answer to the Scrap Heap. Earthshaker Kendra is good. Nice. I mean, we're definitely dead here, aren't we? We're, I don't think there's any draw that can get us out of this. No, we take 1 anyway. Good game, opponent. Howdy guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed the content. I loved playing this list. If you guys did enjoy watching it, then please consider dropping it a like and subscribe. And let me know what you thought in the comments down below. How viable is Grixis in the historic meta? If you want my opinion, which isn't worth that much as well, it feels quite viable. Yes, we're playing in the lower ranks, we're playing in gold at the moment since the season's just reset, but we will come back to revise this and give it another go. But it feels at the moment really, really strong. I could argue even better than Azorius. It feels like it has some really good tools to take advantage of what's going on in the meta at the moment. So yeah, I feel like it's good. I do wonder if we need to run Grafdigger's Cage though, since we didn't run into Goblins, and Grafdigger's Cage is definitely something that I feel like we might want. Maybe we just switch out the Gifted Aetherborns for them, since we played Rakdos aggro in there, and Gifted Aetherborns didn't really come up, and I feel like Cage might just be better at answering them. We could also cut some, like, maybe the Fort Distortions instead, since I don't think we need this much against control. Duresses, Negates, and Chandra's Awakens probably enough. But yeah, Grixis, wow, like, kind of taken away a little bit by the power of it. Like I said at the beginning, not really the best control player in the world, so I definitely made some mistakes, and I actually made some mistakes I addressed during the video as well. And I made some mistakes you guys probably noticed that I did not address, because I don't even know their mistakes when at the point of making them. But yeah, like, still, the control list felt really strong overall. Like I said, let me know what you guys thought, maybe changes we could make, different card choices. I think overall I was really happy with the Soul Shatter. I've gone on about this card a little bit, but this is something that I've just found excellent. And yeah, the mixture between Gonti, Extinction Event, and like Dark Imitations has just all felt really powerful. I also feel like I might want more Erebos's Intervention in the board. Don't know, maybe this is something to consider as well. Maybe the number of Scrylands as well, since scrying feels really powerful in this. Or maybe we want to like go to less tap down and more counter spells. I don't know, because with instant speed Soul Shatter, maybe that's a reason to be playing counter spells, since you've got a really efficient instant speed removal spell. I don't know, it's quite difficult to tell. Gonna have to give it a few more attempts before we figure that out. Like I said at the beginning of the video as well, remember that we upload a video a day, and I've put them in playlists as well, so you can check them out on the channel. by going in the description down below. You'll see a link to the channel, as well a link to the loads of other videos. And like I said at the beginning as well, you can catch me on Twitch, Radio Magic. A link will be in the description down below, so go and check that out if you want. But I'm kind of just rambling now, so I might just leave you guys to it and allow you to enjoy the rest of your day in peace. So yeah, until next time, guys, stay safe.